I celebrate the strides made before us and work to do better for the next. KMR Kids. We are KMR.
All right, looking at time, it is exactly 50 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock, and we have about 8.5 minutes till we take it to the top of the first hour. But without wasting any further time, as you can see, our guest is ready. Ugqoka my glasses, angithi ifuture bathi bright. But ladies and gentlemen, as we do know, namhlanje bangabeke celebrate Youth Day, June 16, and it's 47 years actually. Besijongela nje Miss K bangabeke 1970s, and looking at 2023, it's been 47 years down the line. And today we're going to be looking at the film industry, actually tapping specifically within Africa and finding out from not either but the only. We're talking about the best. He goes by the name of Director S. SAANGA bongani SITYANA, and he, in fact, let me just give it over to him as saying ubangaba ungubani wakwabani. Over to you, but
first of all, happy Youth Day to everybody. Yeah, like today I feel like it's significant also for film, this interview, like to be on, because Hector Peterson, no one would have known about Sarafina if it wasn't for filmmakers.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm SITYANA. Bongani is my middle name. I was born in Port Elizabeth, Ekadecha. I'm from Epondweni, and yeah, I was born in New Brighton. Grew up in Ngusha, right next door to you guys, not so far away. So yeah, that's who I am, and I work between Johannesburg and Cape Town as a filmmaker.
All right, Ms. K.
Yeah. Sibulele kakhulu ke butwana sibulele that we've got abantu abafana noBotsi yake who are there to show us indlela and actually to encourage and motivate us. Siyabulela kakhulu ke butwana siyabulela kakhulu that we've got abantu abafana nawe, and xa usithi ke next door to us, I guess ke sizawuthatha the nuggets that you have to give us namhlanje in this interview, and we're yet to learn a lot from you.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I want to find out now, Banga, like, film industry, how is it? Like, the goods and also the bad side of it. Please tell us about it.
So the good side of it is that you're telling someone's story. So if you're into long form, which is movies and TV series, then you're telling a person's story. But if you're into short pieces like commercials and music videos, then you are creating some short visual pieces, like we know how in music videos look. It's always nice. You're seeing all these nice people, nice weathers, and commercials is about product. But to be specific, if we want to talk about storytelling, like a movie, or we want to talk about a series or a telenovela, that life is a different life to the other life I've mentioned, because there you are taking either a story from a book and you're converting it into this long form narrative, and that is actually one of the best things as a filmmaker that you can do, and that's how Hollywood started, I guess. It's just telling these stories that people can relate to, because many movies is stuff we've seen. If it's based on real life, if it's fiction, it's stuff that we want to see in the future. If I want to talk about just the environment, your Sabenza in the film industry, we're talking about, I know people always think of glitz and glam, but that's not the case. There's a lot of more work to be done behind the scenes, and that work also includes planning, writing scripts, getting cast, auditioning people, getting locations. So there's a lot of work to be done just besides what you see on the final product.
Okay.
Most definitely. Now, what I'd like to know, Ndobana, out of anything that you could have been, namhlanje, you chose filmmaking. Why has it always been a thing that you've always wanted? I know, but ukhule kwi family of in a background of abantu that were, because you do say Ndobana, even in your biography, Ndobana, you are in fact a grandson of a Xhosa novelist. So now, what I'd like to know is that why filmmaking, has it always been a thing for you?
Yeah, from that inspiration, Katam Kulwam, I mean, I guess if I was in his time, I would have become a writer, Helen Senza, radio dramas. You remember radio dramas back in the day? Amabali.
Yes.
That was what was available for them at the time. But in Wogutina, we're in a new age, new era where we can actually be behind the camera and tell the stories to and project them to television. So that love grew from that. I mean, I was a writer, and that's what I studied. I majored in script writing, then I merged it with directing. So that being a visionary, like visioning stories and just yeah, you wanna playing in your eyes, in your head, and that's where it started. And that love of filmmaking grew within me, and I thought, okay, where do I actually learn this? And I had to come to the big city to learn it. Eastern Cape didn't offer any of those kind of institutions where you can study to be a filmmaker. You can study to become like an actor, like drama in front of camera or on stage. But filmmaking was nothing we had, so I had to come out of the province and venture somewhere for it.
Sia, looking actually at South Africa, do you think we need more of Ulucha to actually populate the film industry?
I think we do. I definitely think we do. Like there's so less people. I'm gonna be specific about this. There's so less youth joining the film industry because everyone wants to be an actor. But we forget that before you in front of camera, someone needs to make the behind the scenes. Like someone needs to write the script, someone needs to direct it, someone needs to shoot it as a cameraman. And we have less of those people coming in, especially black people, because right now currently the industry is populated by white people, so we need people of color to start filtering in, especially from the youth. Those are the people that we're banking on to take this forward. So there's a very big need of filmmakers from the youth.
Most definitely. And also, what I'd like to know is that when personally, do you think there's anything that can be done in actual fact to ensure, we bring in people into the filmmaking industry, and also sibazi say there is actually the behind the scenes, in as much as there is also the in front of the camera, but
Yeah.
what is it that you think can be done to ensure we actually lure ulucha into filmmaking?
I think first of all, it's knowledge. It's information. I know that ngexesha lam I had a privilege of having a guidance teacher at school, so I knew where to study certain things because you were guided, right?
Yes.
But now we're in a new age of social media and television, and all these boys and girls are inspired to be on TV, but they just don't know where to go. So information first must be made available to them of where they can study being filmmakers. And secondly, we need our institutions to start supporting us. By that I mean government institutions like the arts and culture. Any institution within provincial institutions and national to start spreading the word and supporting financially these boys and girls who want to study this craft. And that's what we need. Because look, I'm sure in Tanzania somewhere someone wants to do this, but they don't have the money. Because film schools are expensive, they're private institutions. And they cost a lot of money, more than your tuition you would pay a UJ or Kanye, any institution you want to study in. So we need that support. That's the base of what we need. We need that support, and curriculums must be made available, and financial support must be made available.
Definitely. Let's look at some of the highlights as a career yako. I want you to tell us about some of the countries that you've actually visited before.
I've been all around Africa. I've been. I'll start from Nigeria all the way to mid Africa, East Africa, Ghana, Kenya,
Yeah.
all the way down, all the way down to your Mozambique. I've shot in Mozambique. I've been in Uganda recently. So yeah, I kind of kept it around Africa. It's been my oyster, I guess. For me, I see a niche market within Africa. It's an emerging market for film making and the film industry as a whole. And I'm just borrowing my skill to uplift that and connect with other African filmmakers. Not that I don't have an ambition to go overseas, but for now, I think they always say build at home and then the world will come for you.
I'm definitely for that. Okay, I always have a lot of questions to ask, Miss K.
And at this point, I'm just enjoying. Going on and on and on about filmmaking, because I, for one, didn't know much about. In as much as I know that there is the behind the scenes and there is the forefront of the camera, but I didn't know much about it. And from just you talking over and over again, and actually taking in,
Definitely. Social media handles, where can we find you?
You'll find me on Facebook. It's Sia space SAANGA with SAANGA. SITYANA, my surname. And on Instagram, you'll find me on director_S. I don't tweet. I do have a Twitter account, but it's not my thing. You'll find my account, but I'm not active. I'm not active.
No, we don't blame you. We don't blame you. Namhlanje Sia, it's Youth Day. Is there a specific special message or words of encouragement that you want to give out to ulutsha namhlanje?
What I can say to youth is just always be yourself, no matter what the circumstances. By that I mean, like, always just remain grounded, remain focused, and just know you could be demotivated and all of that by people and people around you. The best way is never listen to the noise and just go forward. We are the future. You are the future. And whatever you can go for, you're never too late. You're still youth. That's why it's a youth day. You are youth. There's people who achieve things at their 40s and 50s. So you are never too late. The youth need to stop this thing of saying, "Oh, I'm running out of time." What time? I'll just make a quick example. You know that Morgan Freeman only made his name at like 40. That's when his career started. And look at him now. He's big. He's made some big Hollywood masters. So it just shows that there's no lateness in future. If you like something and you want to go for it and you love it, you just go for it. And don't be demotivated by anything else. But also the youth, there's so much distraction for the youth at the moment. There's just so much stuff that's distracting them, and people lose.
It's a bit of feedback I can see from Sia's side. I'm hoping it's actually gone now. But Sia, we've got a bit of feedback coming in from your side. Okay, kubaphulaphuli bonke ke abakhoyo who've just joined us at this moment. We are in conversation. But Sia, sine feedback on your side. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, as I did mention, we are in conversation with Director S. And I do not understand why this technology decided to actually pop in at this moment, because the interview was going so well, ladies and gentlemen. As I did mention, we were in conversation with the Butsia SAANGA, and he is a director. And we've actually been tapping into Africa. I mean, he's mentioned that he's been to Nigeria, into Mid-Africa, East Africa, there's Mozambique, and recently Uganda. So he's been traveling around Africa, which is really, really amazing. Butsia, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Stunning. You're back on. Then Balanje uphindo usinikela myalezo ubumthumela out to ulutsha.
Sorry, say that again.
Could you kindly kwakhona usinike that special message, in fact the words of encouragement ubuzinika ulutsha, stating bangabeke, be yourself, remain focused, and block the noise.
Yeah, and I was saying before we got cut off that there's so much distraction within our world today, and I get it. A lot of youth is distracted by so many things, and we all just want that lamb life, and we all always want to conform into a certain group, because if you're not cool enough. And that's what the youth need to stop and just focus on their career. And focusing on career is not just only about going to school and reading books, but how you carry yourself throughout life. Like, for instance, some people can go into companies and become, and do internship, or you can understudy someone like myself And that's focusing on your career. You might not have the money to go to school, but you're like, oh, Sia, can I go shadow you at work? And that's how you progress. Because in that you upskilling yourself, and that's what the youth needs to do. Stop going to pubs and all these nice places less, and place yourself within the work environment that will uplift your career and upscale, and advance you in life. And that's what the youth needs to do.
Definitely, definitely. From me, I don't want to lie. I think Namdi Miss K. I've always wanted to find out more about the film industry, because Tina Genyani, truth be told, Silulucha, we always want the glitz and the glam. So if about Pambi, put camera, like to camera, lights, action, that's us. We want to be actors, we want to become actresses. But we are young and behind the scenes, which is very, very important. Go by Genyanke. That's just how it is within the film industry. Miss K.
And also, I love the fact that we are tapping out of the normal, conventional careers, which is your doctors, your accountants, and whatnot, and actually going into the entertainment industry, and so to say, filmmaking, as Ubusia is actually. And I really, really appreciate about that are going to go out of the norm and out of what we have been taught as abantwana. And you're about to say, well, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a whatever. Like we are at a point where we go beyond that. We know there's filmmaking, there's other things other than our normal conventional careers.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also, if I may add, there's always this thing of being a role model. I mean, TV influences a lot of our youth, and I think especially TV. I mean, that's the space I'm in, and it influences a lot. And that's why I always say to people, I don't want to be a role model. I want to be a real model, meaning that I've got my flaws, I've got my imperfections, but a person can take the goodness of what I do and they can learn from that. Because I don't want you to see me the next day somewhere and and see me at my lowest and think, but I thought this guy was like, that's not what being a role model is. Because a role model means you're playing a role. You just always in front of people's faces and playing a role of being a role model. But a real model is one that actually gives advices and say, listen, life isn't perfect, I'm not perfect, but hey, I want to teach you something so you can go forward and chase your dream. And that's what I want to be, and that's what I always try to be to youth, especially in the film industry. I do a lot of skills transfer as well. Like I would go and host master classes for underprivileged kids for free. I don't even expect getting paid for that. I go to schools and say, look, I can run a master class so that they can understand this career and not look at the glitz and glam only, and they can use me as that real model for them to say, oh, look where he comes from, look where he's at, and how he remains grounded till now. Yes. So I contribute a lot to that, just so people can understand the space we're in terms of the industry, so that by the time they can take a decision and say, oh, look, I thought it was just about me getting famous and rich, but that's not the case. It's a work like any other job. You got to master the craft, you got to be proud of yourself and do the best you can with the talent that you have.
Yeah. That is something. It's really rare to actually find a Banda Bafana Nawisia who would actually offer those master classes free of charge. We do know Abantu Baninski, they always do it for the money. And for you to nyani just say go to a certain school and be like, you know what, it's okay. Masenzele Masterclass. Thank you so much once more again for joining us today, and we wish you nothing but the best for the future. Definitely. Thank you so much. All right, once more again, thank you to everyone who joined us. Also, no Luyolo Lawrence, I see you. You were here with us. Thank you, man, for joining us. Stay tuned. We still have more coming up for you on this Youth Day.